All right, it's Saturday, January 4th, 2025, and MSNBC now deciding to weigh in on the motive of the Tesla Cybertruck driver, Matthew Livelsberger, the 18-year Green Beret who it turns out was possibly blowing the whistle on a massive U.S. government cover-up. Well, leave it to the media, to corporate media, to really screw this story up. We're going to set the record straight because he wasn't at all what the media is portraying him as. He may have just did all of us a major solid, and more stories as well from around the country. But before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel, and consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates. So the 18-year active duty Green Beret who was allegedly involved in driving the Tesla Cybertruck up to Trump Tower in Vegas 3 days ago, a story that's gotten layers more complicated since yesterday. If you didn't watch our video about it yesterday, I recommend you do. Short version though, it turns out Matthew Livelsberger likely wasn't an attacker at all, like the media is calling him, but actually was a whistleblower about to blow the whistle on war crimes and what our government's hiding from the American people about the drones or UAP that we keep seeing and hearing about. And even crazier, it's possible that he's still alive. Turns out the DNA from the body in the Cybertruck doesn't match his child's DNA. We're going to get to this because the military is trying to paint this as being a trigger point for why he did what he did. According to people close to the family, though, the child's definitely his. At least that's what they're saying. And what it looks like, what it points to, is that he may actually be alive. He's got the experience to pull that off. His tradecraft was solid. It's possible that the person in the Cybertruck isn't actually Matthew Livelsberger. There's a ton we just don't know right now, but what we know for sure is that he is who he says he was. He is active duty, or was active duty Green Beret. He has TSSCI clearance with SAP and USAP access. There was some confusion on the Sean Ryan show about this yesterday. They weren't sure what SAP and USAP stood for. SAP stands for Special Access Program. USAP stands for Unacknowledged Special Access Program, which means black ops, black projects, programs that don't technically exist on the books. In order to be read into these, you have to have a need to know, and you need TSSCI clearance, top secret, special compartmentalized information clearance, which we now know and confirmed Matthew had. We also now have video from a Tesla charging station where he stopped to charge the Cybertruck that he used. You can see that here. This was released by police. Authorities also released multiple letters and emails from the phone they obtained inside the Cybertruck. So anyone who's trying to say that the emails that the Sean Ryan show showed yesterday and the story that they laid out isn't true, they're wrong. The police, the authorities released these emails, one of them being the letter that Sam Shoemate read on the Sean Ryan show yesterday. If you didn't see that, here's a shortened version of it to catch you up, but these are 100% legit.
So the question is, how would I describe his state of mind in the manifesto that was described on the podcast? Have we been able to determine whether that was from him or not? And I don't know if you want to address the second part, Spencer.
Yeah, so in terms of the so-called manifesto that's circulating online, we have strong evidence to suggest that it was the subject that wrote it, but we haven't conclusively proven that yet. And that evidence relates to other evidence that we're finding that we're able to compare that lead us to believe it was in fact him who sent it.
And then after, we'll show you where the OpSend he mentions is located. Crazy part of the story, which they didn't get into. Roll the tape.
Do you want to read the email?
Yep. So this email came in on December 31st at 10:42 a.m. That is Tuesday. He said, "In case I do not make it to my decision point or on to the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones," he puts that in quotes, he says drones, "is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the US. Only we in China have this capability. Our OpSend, that's Operations Center, our OpSend location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comm system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them, and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive VBID. For your audience, a VBID, for your audience who has not been in the GWOT for the last 20 years, a VBID is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. In layman's terms, a bomb, what we saw at Trump Tower. So, backing up, he says, I am armed and have a massive VBID. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. Here's where he gets into the other stuff, and this is where we had to redact the names. Well, your producer redacted the names. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcas, that's civilian casualties, that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA, an agent, redacted, of the DEA. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with, redacted, IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala Murghab. Redacted commander at the time, redacted, can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Then he says, for vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion, 10th Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access.
What is USAP? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is. But I checked.
The OPSEN location is pinned below, which stands for Operations Center, where he apparently works monitoring these UAP, these, gravitic propulsion craft. And they didn't show you this on the Sean Ryan show, but he pinned the location to the email. The location's coordinates are located here at Groom Lake, the Nellis Test Range in Nevada. The exact location, it turns out, is a subbase at Area 51. You can't make this up. And it's not far-fetched to then believe this story, folks. The people who guard these black projects are special forces. Matthew Livelsberger was special forces. He was a Green Beret, 18-year active duty Green Beret. He likely was working as security or in some capacity at this base. So let's just be real clear about this. If he's working on a USAP or a SAP, a special access program, that's like as classified as it gets. They're called SAPs for a reason. They're compartmentalized, meaning even if you have a top secret clearance, you can't know about it. Even if you're a 4-star general with top secret clearance, if you don't have a need to know, you're denied access. You have to have a need to know to be read into it. Everyone who works on these SAP projects is highly monitored. You have to sign your rights away, basically, that you're okay with being monitored, have your phones monitored, your communications, etc. So they likely knew exactly what he was up to. They knew he sent this email to Sam Shoemate, most likely, that he wanted to blow the whistle. Now the question is, what do you do? What do they do to someone that does that? Do they arrest him? Or do they make him disappear? I have no idea. With regard to what he's blowing the whistle on, though, the anti-gravity craft, well, what he says lines up with what Dave Grush said under oath to Congress last year and what Congressman William Timmons just said in an interview about this subject. Congressman Timmons sits on the House Subcommittee on Government Oversight and Accountability, which is looking into this UAP topic. Watch this and notice how it aligns very closely to what Matthew Livelsberger just said. Roll the tape.
Or how frustrating is it?
So it's actually, this is the thing. I do think that the government is trying to assess whether it's China or non-human. I think that's really the underlying question. Because if it's China, it's bad because they have technology that we don't understand, and they have advancements that we don't have, which is not good. If it's non-human, then, well, we don't know why they're here. So, both of those deserve additional resources to figure out the answer to.
And that's right. The way you're framing it is kind of simple, not simplistic, but simple. Do you think that's an easy case to make to the incoming Trump administration? Like, hey.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take. It doesn't take. This is not an Elon Musk task. This is a task that can be assigned to a lot of people. But this is the thing. The patterns in sightings can easily be predicted, and I actually think that there's a correlation between military training, military activities in the U.S. and these sightings. So it would not be difficult to figure out if it's China, because if it is indeed China, they're using their technology to assess our military capacity, and we can create the systems through which they would then respond, and we'll be like, okay, it's China.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't take the bait, and it's not China, or it might not be China.
Have you entertained the idea of military contractors? Do you feel like that part of it?
I mean, that's definitely a variable, because we spend a lot of money to allow the private sector to develop technologies because we don't have the expertise. Yeah. So absolutely.
So is he still alive? Is Matt Livelsberger still alive and out there on the run? We don't know. The military police are investigating it as if he is still alive, though. I can tell you that. I don't think he is personally. I'd say it's much more likely that is him in the Cybertruck. Was he a patsy? Is this some kind of message to President Trump? I think that's more likely than him still being out there. But look, anything's possible. Bottom line, the Trump administration has the coordinates now of exactly where the aerospace company is working out of with these drones/UAP. It's on government property. Let's hope he demands a walkthrough of that facility. Meanwhile, leave it to MSNBC to spew non-stop propaganda all day yesterday about this, not informing the public about the facts, but instead using it to build a story to fit their narrative. MSNBC, the worst reporting on this, omitting all the relevant info and tying this to, guess what else? White supremacy. You can't make this up. Watch.
Yeah. And last word to you on this, Charles, because this is the challenge, is it's very difficult to feel safe when on top of everything that Mayor Landrieu just said, you also have politicians that have a self-interest in lying about everything because it helps them with a political narrative, not concerned about the human narrative that could actually be really helpful.
And that is the tragedy of all of this, right? There are real tragedies. There will always be crime. Unfortunately, what we try to do is to keep the crime as low as possible. All different kinds of people will commit crimes. The problem here is that you jump on one sort of crime, one crime committed by one name that sounds exotic, one brown face, rather than looking at all of the domestic terror that we face, including what the FBI says, is a really big problem, which is young white men in America. We need to look at all of our domestic and say, this all is a problem.
That wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.